picture. There are so many programming languages other than .NET and before .NET also. So let us start with C. So first, C is considered as what you know. C is considered as a root cause and basic root cause and fundamental programming language. So if you see here, C is considered as fundamental and root cause of all other programming languages, because from C only other programming languages have come into picture. Like first, C is designed and developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972. When he found this programming language, he thought that this is wonderful programming language. So that's the reason it is called root cause and fundamental. But there are some drawbacks, as it is 1972's programming languages. So what are those drawbacks means? So first thing, it is a platform dependent. So what do you mean by platform? So platform dependent, second security, third reusability. Because of these three drawbacks only it was. So platform dependent, security, reusability. So what do you mean by platform dependent? So if you see, in 1972 there was only one at that point of time, though we have different operating systems, but it was platform is nothing but operating system only. It was particularly depend on one operating system like Windows. So platform is nothing but what? One operating system. So what do you mean by operating system means? So operating system is nothing but acts as an interface between hardware and user. So if you see, so what exactly platform means? It is nothing but it is an interface, we can say. So to whom? Hardware and user. Now what exactly hardware means? There are so many different hardware components. So if you see, there are different hardware. If you take a mobile or a laptop, so what are the different hardware means? First we see, when we are going to buy a laptop or a mobile, we mainly focus on RAM, ROM and processor, because completely deals with these three things. RAM is a random access memory or volatile memory. So volatile is nothing but, see, whenever you are performing some game or whenever you are watching any video content, RAM utilization will be there. Whereas ROM is like external storage device, it is considered as non-volatile. Whatever you are going to take photos, pictures, videos, it will be storing under ROM, and processor is going to process our information. So in case if you give how much processor is that much fast our data is going to process. So when we talk about RAM generally consists of 2 GB from 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512 and 1024. Okay, so 4 GB RAM is there, as well as 16 GB RAM, 18. Now we have even 8 16 GB RAMs. In the same way, ROM 256 512 GB ROM is also available. I mean 1024, even you are getting 1 GB ROM also. But the thing is, like these are all takes the memory, but processor which plays an important role. So how it is going to process means, as we know, computer basically understands what you know, only binary codes. Binary means what? Zeros and ones. So when I say zeros and ones, so computer is going to convert everything into zeros and ones. But according to ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange, what they have said is, so they have certain limitations, like what you know. According to ASCII, if I write like they have converted, they have ASCII codes like capital A value, So capital B as 65, in the same way small a as 97, small b as 98. So if you observe, there are certain codes they give, because when we talk about this ASCII, everything will be converted to ASCII. Because computer does not see, as I said, zeros and ones it has to convert. But when I say ASCII, it is 65, which is a number. So once again, this has to convert to decimal codes like zeros and ones. So 2 means 0010, 3 is equal to 0011, 4 is equal to 0100, 5 is equal to 001, 6 is equal to 0110, whereas 7 is equal to 0, 8 is equal to 1000, 9 is equal to 1001, and 10 is equal to 1010. So if you observe, there are there are some codes. So each code they have written in a separate way. If you see 6 means 0110, 5 means 0101. So if I write, so when I say process, how it is going to process means, so processor is going to process through input. After that process, then I am going to get output. Input is a keyboard device. So if I give A in input, then after processing I am going to get once again A. After processing, output monitor. So what is this process means? As I said, A value is 65. 65 means what? 6 is nothing but 0110. 5 is nothing but 0101. Totally how many bits? 8 bits. 8 bits is nothing but what? 1 byte of information. So data is purely converted into zeros and ones, that is nothing but one byte of data. So if you see, even when we are going to write, so each character will convert to what, one. So whenever, if I am going to write A, now it is going to save. So now when it is saved, it will be saved as what, so converts into two things. So I can say it as my ASCII under my files. So what is the data it is going to store, we want to see, because it is to convert into zeros and ones. Second is extension, it converts everything into .txt file. Okay, so whenever there is a data, so we need to understand like how it is going to store the data into the system. So if you observe, there are some files, example, under this we see D, my files. I just if you see my ASCII code, right click on this file, so go to properties. So 1 byte of data is stored, means what? 1 byte of information is being stored, each character, because one character is of 1 byte. So in the same way, if I write B, so if I write B, so another character, save it, control S I did. Now go to what, so here one more character I wrote, so B. So how much data it is going to store means, B is nothing but 66. So once again, 0110, 0110, 8 plus 8 bits, 1 byte. So it will be processed through B. Now go to the properties and observe. So close this one. So as I wrote one more character, now go to the properties. 2 bytes of data. Okay. Now whenever you are going to process the data, it has been converted. It has been converted and given what? An information. Now these are all how data is processing. Now how computer is going to understand. Now apart from that, we do have other operating systems, like as I said, three drawbacks are there: platform dependent, security, and reusability. Now in order to overcome these drawbacks, what happened? So in 1972s we don't have security. Why? Because application was not that much secure, because it is not an object oriented programming language. Even a reusability, once if I develop an application or write a code, it should be in a position to reuse. So these three drawbacks were missing under C language. In order to overcome this, next who has come into picture means C++. C++ is designed and developed by Startup in the year 1980s. When he came, he said like he tried to resolve all the drawbacks of C programming language, but he could not overcome platform dependency, because it is also 90s programming languages, like 1970, 80s it has come into picture. Security, because he did not implemented any features of security, but he resolved only one thing called reusability by introducing object-oriented programming structure. So why C++ has become more popular means because of only one feature called object-oriented programming structure, where everything will be in the form of classes and objects. Now, apart from that, we do have other things. So under classes, apart from classes and objects, we have four major principles under OOPS. So what are those means? One is encapsulation. Second one is abstraction. Third one, inheritance. Fourth, polymorphism. Now each one has got some peculiar feature. Now if I say about encapsulation, see, as I said, classes and objects, when we have class, code will be secured by giving encapsulation, wrapping of the code. So in the same way, abstraction, hiding the complexity of the code. Inheritance, parent-child relation, parent properties are belonging to child. Polymorphism, poly means many, morphism means method overloading, method overriding concepts. Okay. Now these are the four major principles under OOPS. But we have still two drawbacks. What are those is platform dependency and security. So in 1970s, 1980s also we have two drawbacks, that is platform dependency and security. So in order to overcome these two, Java, next who came into picture means, if you see here, Java has come into the picture. So Java, James Gosling, 1995. So when he has started, 1995, Java has been developed by James Gosling. So in 1995, at Indonesia, Jakarta place, they have found out from a bean. So what exactly they try to say, it is like he came and said, we do have three drawbacks. What are those is platform dependent. He came and said, his main intention was is to platform independent. Why independent means, so till then they were running only on particular operating system like Windows. Now he said, why only on Windows? We will make it not only on Windows, it should be available on Linux, so that Linux people also can develop. In previous case it was only for Windows people. Now Unix people also can develop. Not only that, Mac OS, Macintosh operating system, even Apple people also can develop. So it made so Java for Linux, Java for Unix, Java for Mac OS, and Java for Windows. It came into our limelight. So everyone were moving towards Java. So next, after that, security. As I said, encapsulation, nothing but wrapping of the code by using classes, and abstraction for hiding the complexity of the code. These two were given from OOPS concepts, and not only that, reusability concepts were already given, like inheritance, polymorphism. Poly means many, morphism means method overloading and method overriding. Now because of these all features, everything is resolved under Java. But the thing is, like when everything is resolved under Java, what is the need of going for .NET means, though it provides excuse me. So .NET. So .NET came into the picture in 2002. Anders Hesselberg is a person who invented prime architect of what? Of .NET. So when he came, he said he also tried to resolve platform dependent to independent, security, and reusability. But the thing is that all the three drawbacks were overcome under Java. Then what is the need of coming into picture by .NET people means, he said, see, if you main intention of .NET is, if you do applications, if you do develop applications in Java, you need to develop using only Java. But if you come to .NET, he said, you end of the day, what is our role to develop an application? So to develop an application is also called app. Now what type of app you want to develop is a question. So what type of app you want to develop means, there are different types of applications like Windows application, web application, mobile application, service based application. So there are different types of applications where we can develop. That is the main intention of coming into the picture. Okay. Now, not only that, how you are going to develop, because see, Java people can write only in Java, but why .NET? Why, what is the purpose of going for .NET means it supports mainly 60 plus languages, programming languages. So how it is going to support means when you write source code after compiling, whereas in Java you will get bytecode, whereas in .NET you are going to get IL code, which is also called MSIL, Microsoft Intermediate Language Code. IL means intermediate language, or CIL code, common intermediate language. Whereas in Java you will get bytecode. In Java we will be passed through JVM called Java Virtual Machine. Here we are going to pass our engine called CLR, Common Language Runtime. The name itself indicates CLR because it supports all the programming language. So everything will be common, converted to one language, CLR. Then what you are going to get is machine code. So what is the main purpose of going for .NET means? So it supports 60 plus languages, and what is the execution engine is CLR, nothing but Common Language Runtime, which is the main. So when everyone questioned like how it is going to support these many languages means, they said we have CLI specifications, Common Language Infrastructure specifications. So common language infrastructure specification says what you know. See, in Java, people can write only in Java, but .NET when you are coming, it supports 60 plus. No, you can write in 60 plus. How you are going to write means because of CLI is it. Now, what do you mean by CLI means? It supports first thing, common language specification. Now, every language, see, you may write in different language, but he is saying I'll convert to one common language. What is that is an intermediate language, then I'll convert it. So you see, today you may write in VB, tomorrow you may write in C sharp, and the other person may write in J sharp. But I know only one thing. What is that is conversion. So if you write in VB, I'll pass through what, as I wrote here, source code will be passed through compiler. So if I'm passing through compiler, my compiler becomes VBC compiler, Visual Basic Compiler. Then I'll pass it through CLR, which take care, which will convert to common intermediate language. Then I'm going to get what, my machine code. In the same way, if you are running C sharp, I'll be passing through what, CSC, C sharp compiler. Then I'll be passing through CLR. Then I'm going to get machine code. In the same way, J sharp, JSC, Java sharp compiler. Then it will be passed through CLR. Then I'll be passed through machine code. So after getting, I'll be getting through machine code. Now these are the things which need to execute it. Okay. If you observe, like this is one common language specification. In the same way, they said we have one more thing, common type specification. If you are using different data types, common type specification means what, if you are using different data types, I'll be converting to one common type. Now what is that common type, you know? So today you may write in VB integer, whereas C sharp int. So these are two different data types you are using, integer and int. So what .NET is suggested is like, so for all integers, what is the size is 4 bytes. So 4 bytes means how much, you know? 4 bytes, 1 byte, 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So 4 into 8, 32 bits of data. So nothing but system dot int 32 will be the base type for all the common type system. Okay, means what, whenever I am using either integer or int, I will be converting to one common type. In the same way, we have libraries, base class libraries we call it as. We have base class libraries like what, namespaces. Namespace is nothing but a logical container, means what, we have different namespaces. Using system is one namespace out of all, which is very common namespace. Using system dot collections, using system dot data collections dot generic, using system dot data dot SQL client, there are a number of namespaces, means nothing but class libraries. So once again, class libraries are of two types. When we are going to discuss in detail, I'll let you know. So user defined and system defined class libraries. Using system is a system defined, whereas in case if we are going to define, we call it as user defined. And finally, we have VES, virtual execution system. Nothing but our CLR, which is the heart of our system. Whenever we run anything, it will be passing through what? Through our system. Okay, so these are the four major things. And as I said, now when you are going to, what is the main purpose of going for it? Supports .NET means it supports 60 plus languages second. What are the things you can develop means you can, as I said, you can develop different types of application. Now what are the different types of application means? Windows application is there, mobile application is there, web application is there. So first Windows application we'll see. See, end of the day what you are going to do means you are going to develop. Under Windows also you can develop two types of application. One is CUI, character user interface, GUI, graphical user interface. So CUI, character user interface, GUI, graphical user interface. What is the best example for character user interface means command prompt. So if you see the interface of command prompt, it will be perfectly designed in such a way that only a character based system will be there. So if I want to say create a directory or change the directory, so I need to just say, so if I want to go to a particular drive, so I can go through different drives. Now this is what character user interface. In the same way, graphical user interface, when we are going to, so the way we are going to see, this is called a graphical user interface. Okay. Now once again we have a web, so I can create one folder in both command prompt as well as, so I want to use a command prompt. I want to say change the directory to C drive. So in users, if you observe under D drive, I'll go so that, okay, C drive only will be creating. So in C drive, when you create a folder, so if you see here, so there is no folder by name called second. I want to create a folder called second. So mkdir SEZOND. So whether second has come into the picture or not, we can see. So it has come. So means what? It has created just now. In the same way, GUI means nothing but so third. So this is the interfaces which we are going to create. Now in the same way, web applications, when we talk about web, mainly web consists of what? Three things. What are those means? One is, so web mainly consists of front end or client side. Now what do you mean by front end technologies? Like hypertext markup language which use cascading style sheets, JavaScript. Okay. Under these three technologies only front end will be used, and now we have even latest technologies also. Now back end, server side. What we have is C language is there, which is a server side, C++, Java, C hash. These are all like Python. These are all server side or backend programming languages. Next, databases are completely different data, like Oracle database, which completely stores data. Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL. So Oracle is for Java, Microsoft SQL Server for .NET people, MySQL especially designed for Python people. So there is an interface. If you see, there is an interface under. So if you observe here, now clearly you can see when I search for top 10 programming languages. So top 10 programming languages shows what you know. Yes. So if you see here, so first Google is a topmost popular website. So it is front end or client side is clearly explaining what you know. So the way they have Google, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, when they founded in 1998, though they started with what you know, backend server side programming language as C, later with C++, then with Go, Java, then Python. So JavaScript is the language which they are used as a front end. Now if you see any technologies like Fandom or X, Bing, eBay, MSN, these are all websites which uses front end as what you know, JavaScript. Now what about HTML CSS means? You can see Wikipedia is also JavaScript, but when you will come to know JavaScript means alongside of HTML and CSS. So when you use HTML CSS, then you will get 99% of websites uses what you know JavaScript. Indirectly you are using HTML and CSS as well. Okay, and the languages, different programming languages we are going to use it, including Node.js as the latest programming, server backend programming language. And the databases, huge databases they are using, like one is Bigtable, the other one is MariaDB. Okay, if you see there are other programming languages also, like if you see Facebook, they have used, they developed initially with PHP, Python, then they have moved to the different programming languages, and the database is MariaDB or MySQL. Okay, I want to show you one picture, like if you see Java, Oracle database, Java people uses Oracle, I said. You can see this picture, uh, Microsoft SQL Server uses .NET people. So that clear picture I can show you here. So Bing is a website which uses what you know, eBay is a website which uses Java. So the database which they are using is Oracle. So in the same way, Amazon is a e-commerce website, they are using what you know, Java, but the databases, they have their own database like DynamoDB, Redis, Aurora, Redshift. So they have their own databases which they have created. In the same way, Microsoft people, there are two websites. One is Bing, is a Microsoft website. If you see, C# is a programming language. Now I want to say you clearly now, as we are into .NET, now .NET mainly consists of what you know, first thing. So .NET consists of C#, which is a programming language. So you do have VB, there are Visual Basics is there, there are different programming language we can use. Now ASP.NET, which is nothing but active server pages. What exactly it stands is a web technology where you can develop web related applications. Next ADO.NET, which is nothing but a communication tool. Between ASP and SQL Server using C#. Now what is SQL Server means, which is a purely database. Now this clear picture we can see. Now apart from that, we have MVC, which is nothing but model, view and controllers, which is the latest part of what you know, our .NET. Later whatever we have developed, 3-tier architecture, 1-tier architecture or n-tier architecture, like when we have business logic layer, data access layer and user interface layers, they have separated. Now if you see here, now whatever we wrote, it shows a clear picture. Now C# is a programming language, front end we use ASP.NET as a web technology, ADO.NET as a communication tool. That picture I want to show you under Bing. Now when you use Bing, the programming languages, the programming language means nothing but server side programming language, they used as C#, and the database they are using is what, Microsoft SQL Server. If you see MSN, it is a web portal, means what, website. So they are using what, purely C# as a server side, ASP.NET as I said. ASP.NET is server side web application, and the database which they are using is Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, now if you see, this is the picture like how you are going to execute. Now when you are going to develop an application, even we follow the same. ADO.NET will be used, MVC will be used depending upon our requirement. So once when we start, there are so many ways we can write a program. So what is the tool which we are going to use is Visual Studio, which is a very common tool. There are two things. Visual Studio is a server side, Visual Studio Code is a client side for developing HTML, CSS, whereas Visual Studio is used to develop purely server side applications, like what, coding purpose. Example, the language which we are going to use is C#, and we call it as IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Okay, now what exactly we are going to do, when how you are going to write the code means, we'll be using different languages, or we will be using C# as a programming language. Okay, now if you want to write a code, how we'll be using it means very simple. So you can use a notepad as a text editor, or you can use I want to show you a simple code. So in C language, if I want to say hello world, we'll be using hash include. Hash is a pre-processed directive. Include means include those lines. First we write stdio, standard input output dot h header file. In the meanwhile, hash include conio dot h. So console input output dot header file. So I have a main method followed by what you know, open close brackets and printf. Printf is a method or a function, we call it as. So I want to say welcome. That's it. Now this is a simple programming language which I wrote in C, not in .NET. Now I want to mention C because C is it's not an object oriented programming language. I want to differentiate. And what exactly the structure, see why I explained about C means C sharp is our programming language which I want to write. Now why C sharp means, if you see, first programming language is what? C. What is the first line under that? Hash. So what they have done is, so by using first programming language first line, they implemented C hash, they said, because they are following similar syntax of C. Now how do we write a program using C sharp means, it is a purely case sensitive programming language like C, C. So using system, so using system, S is capital, U is small letter, as it is a word, it has come in top capital letter. So I want to name, so using system, next namespace. I'll do one thing, I'll write in notepad so that it will be clear. Using system, namespace declaration. So namespace indicates what you know, the thing which I want to say. It is a collection of methods and as well as classes. So I want to define class declaration, class example, static void main. Static is a, so when you don't want to create an instance, then we go for static method. Void is a non-value returning type. Main is an entry point of our program. I'm just giving an statements. I'll let you know in detail as it is. I want to let you know what exactly the programming language, how we are going to write. So here I want to say console. Here we will be writing console is a class which is present under system namespace. Right line is a method. So I'm saying hello world. So once when you say console, C capital, as it is follows proper case mechanism. So letter should be okay. Now when you are going to save it as .cs. So you want to name it as using first C sharp program .cs, because cs indicates what you know, cs indicates C sharp file. Okay. Now if you observe here, we wrote class. Instead of writing main method directly, I wrote class. So whereas here I wrote what you know, directly class. So what is the difference between both the programs means, whereas in C programming language, whenever we are going to use, what we are going to use is a main method is there, but a main method is, it's not purely like it's a main method, but it is directly openly available. So main, so how it is going to, so you can see that like main method is available directly. So that's the reason, see whenever you are going to, so main method is directly available. Same thing under, this is under C, which I want to clearly say that this is under C, not under C sharp. So this is using C. Whereas if I want to explain the same concept under here, so first there is a class called if you see here, there is a class. What is that class name? Is example. That example is protecting my method, main method. Main. Okay. So this is how it is going to. So if you observe the way we wrote is completely see, when you want to execute also you can execute. So as I wrote and I saved it as what, I saved it under files. So what is that file name is my first C program. So this is how. So just now I saved it. If you want to execute, we need to have a command prompt. But what is that command prompt? Is developer command prompt. So we need to clearly remember that what command prompt is, developer command prompt for Visual Studio. So I'll just run this program and I'll show you. So other, see, this file is actually, my file is saved under where, D drive. You can see here D drive my files, but where I am under C drive somewhere in community version. So I need to come down to D drive. So after D drive, where did I save? Under my files. Change the directory to my files. Under my files also there are, if you want to see all the directories, dir. What is my file name? First is cs program.cs. If you want to execute, you can say csc, C sharp compiler. Now what is the logic behind that? Just now I explained. So csc stands for what? C sharp compiler. So if I am writing C sharp code, I need to use csc. Now what is my program name? You can see here on top only there, 154. First cs pro.c. So first cs C sharp program.cs. Now compilation, whether errors are there or not. Compilation is done, means there are no errors. If I want to execute, first cspro.exe. One second. So the program where we have saved is what? First cspro.cs. Yeah, compilation. So csc C sharp compiler, first cs pro. Okay, could not be found. One second. Source file D my files. D my files. My files. First cs pro.cs. Yes, compilation done. Okay, there is a, okay, no worries. So it is being protected by the defender. So you can either like, one second, what I'll do is I'll save it in that C drive file, save as, go to what, C drive, and first C. Okay. So under D drive only I'm going to save it. My new, I saved it. Once again I'll run the program. So csc my new.cs. Okay, it has been saved directly, or what? My news.cs directly under D drive. D colon D colon, oh sorry, change the directory. What is the file name is CSC my new .cs. Yes, my new .exe. Hello world. Yes, perfect. There was a permission issue, so what I have done is I saved directly. Now, if you observe, it has executed hello world. Okay. Now, the tool which we have used is Visual Studio command prompt only. There is an Visual Studio tool also where I'll explain in detail about it because it is a huge tool. So, if you see, there are a number of things which we can discuss about Visual Studio. So, what I have done is I just want to clearly explain about like how we have executed using a command prompt. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll even just want to let you know what is Visual Studio, because for Visual Studio is a tool where you are going to run different types of application. It is an IDE, we call it as integrated developer environment, where you are going to have a number of things. So I want to clearly explain first of all what is Visual Studio. So out of that, like how it is going to execute. So when you want going to create a project, so as I said, .NET is a collection of programming language. First thing which I want to say is, now end of the day what you have learned all these things means .NET is a collection of programming languages. So .NET is what collection, we call it as collection of what programming languages. Next .NET is a collection of applications. .NET runs on different operating systems. Now .NET can develop different types of projects or application. Okay, let us see now. These three things are available under Visual Studio. So if you see, it supports different programming languages, all languages. Under that, C#, C++, F#. I want C#. In the same way, it has different platforms: Windows, Linux, Mac OS. So I'm going to use Windows operating system. You have different projects or applications you can develop. So API, application program interface, console, desktop application, extensions, machine learning, mobile testing, web API. So what I want is console application. Okay. So I'll be using console application .NET framework. So if I want to use this will be a common tool and it will be easy for us. First, C program, console program. Now when I click on next, what it is going to do is it is going to create a project. So the interface, see here, everything is what? So ready-made, you got it, because namespace name, first CP, internal class, program, static void main. What I wrote is like manual, but here you are going to. So IntelliSense support is very good. So you can see that how it is going to give me console.readline. So I'll explain in detail like how it is going to use. So once when we run this program, there are two options. You can build and then run, or else directly you can click on start, which is going to build and run. So if you see hello world, whatever we wrote manually and whatever we have executed through Visual Studio, both are same. But the thing is like how it is going to execute. So if you see here, this class console is present under system namespace. If you remove this, see remaining all are not highlighted because under system space only console is class. So if I remove that, you are getting error. Once again you place it, error is gone. Means what? Under system namespace you have, because of that only using system has been highlighted. Even in notepad I wrote only using system. Okay, the remaining namespaces did not highlight because I did not use. If I want to get generics highlighted or collections highlighted, what I need to use, I need to use a list. So when I use list, so obviously system.collections.generic will be used. Means what, I am using a list. So based upon a requirement, the namespaces will be highlighted. So it has been great. So completely depends upon the work which we are going to use. Okay. So as of now, whatever I explained is a complete like how we are going to execute .NET in a different way. Okay, I'll continue this like how we are going to execute and what is the classes, what are the different classes available in tomorrow session. Okay, I'll just stop it here. Okay. Okay, na ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి. నోట్ ప్యాడ్లో ఉంది. పంపిస్తాను ఇప్పుడే.